Welcome back to Warhammer Rogue Trader. Last time we got rid of the Anvers gang, we took out their leadership, and now hopefully we can leave. Takes a second to load, sorry. Hopefully we can leave Footfall now and do stuff. I don't know if we can do anything in here or not. Yeah, so that's from Janus, so I don't know. We gotta get some. We got several places we want to go. We got Janus for the food supply, which they desperately need. We need to go to we gotta go Janus. Where's the other thing? Gotta go to Dargonus if it's here. What else is it? We do have Space Marines, I guess, in here somewhere.
Hi, kitty. What you doing?
And we got... I keep forgetting that name of the place. There's another planet that is under attack currently.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Need 25. Let me see if you got any. If I got anything, I can give you. So it looks like I got some holy gifts. That's 1,000. Yeah. 1,000. That'll get us 150 short, which we can use ship components here to get over the threshold. Now we got this, which will give the owner +6 medicine, and it also gives them plus toughness bonus movement points after using a med kit. Better than average bolter, and the Weber, which is... doesn't do that much damage, but it nets people, and they have to take agility tests, otherwise they take damage.
None shall stand in my way.
Oh, hello, Lord Captain. Honored interrogator, what a surprise. Did you perchance leave something in your cabin? Not at all, First Officer Wareson. I'm not in the habit of leaving a trail, but I thank you for your concern. Greetings, interrogator. What do we owe the pleasure of this latest visit? Only to our mutual duty to humanity. It is that duty that demands that I disturb your peace once more. I was able to contact my mentor and report the tragic events that transpired on Ragcab Minoris. I also received some information from my agents regarding the movement and actions of enemies and humanity, including the Xenos that we are assumed were involved in the theft of the star. According to their findings, The threat now hangs over other worlds. This time, yours, Lord Captain. By the order of Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar, whose duty is to stand sentinel over the Coronis Expanse, the rogue trader of House von Valancius is to take on board the agent of the Most Holy Inquisition and provide escort and support in deeds great and small that serve to safeguard the territories of the Imperium against its enemies. This decree is effective immediately until announcement and remains in effect until decided otherwise by His Excellency Calcazar. All I got from it is that ridding ourselves of this snitch won't be easy. I can't really say no, can I? No. What exactly caused this need to rejoin my crew? The cause is the activity of humanity's enemies, including the cult of the Final Dawn. In my absence, the situation in the Coronis Expanse has changed. I have received an exhaustive report from my agents. This heresy was taken root in the region where the Von Valancius worlds lie. You probably already know about the fate of the industrial world of Kiava Gamma. That's the name of it. It's under attack right now, if not completely overthrown. If not, then I will share what details I know, but not here. Better to talk on board. Could you translate that? The Lord Inquisitor has deemed my presence aboard your ship and in your retinue would be significantly more beneficial to the fight against heresy and evil than my return to my mentor's side. Our parting before our arrival on Footfall was premature. I, Rogue Trader Von Valancius, welcome the agent of the Golden Throne aboard my ship and take on the responsibility of assisting him in the fight against the evil that threats humanity. An answer befitting a righteous servant of the Emperor. If duty has brought you aboard the Rogue Trader's ship once more, then such is the Emperor's will. Welcome back, Interrogator. Thank you, sister. It is an honor to be traveling with one of the blessed Adepta Sororitas. I must also deliver this to you. The Lord Inquisitor specified that the contents of this envelope are for your eyes only. I would ask you to read it as soon as you have the time. Letter from Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar. May the Emperor's faithful forever remain in his favor, in the light of his favor. Let me first express my condolences on the tragic death of the most honorable Theodora von Valancius. Nevertheless, I was elated to learn that the warrant of the Rogue Trader has been passed to a worthy and promising heir. These words are not hollow compliments, but rather the Inquisition's official opinion of your person. As fate would have it, you have taken the reins of the von Valancius dynasty in an hour most dire, when grim portents of dark events to come are surfacing throughout the Coronis Expanse. I have been duty-bound to become the first sentinel who sees the approaching threat, and I hereby alert you that it is indeed coming. Our loyalty and resolve will be tested. People such as you and I will become the pillars that will reunite the Emperor's frightened children and inspire them to fight back. And so I greet you as my dependable ally and assure you of my favor. From now on, you have a trusted friend within the holy orders of the Emperor's Inquisition and a receptive confidant on whom you can rely. Should the dark times ahead require you to make questionable choices, I have no doubt that such an incident will be examined in an exceedingly temperate fashion that rules out the most radical forms of judgment. I have faith in the success of our partnership, and thank you for your contribution, both past and future. Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar. Okay. That is everything for the time being. Are you headed to the ship? Or do you still have business on Footfall? Whatever the case, I can either wait for you to board or accompany you as part of the retinue. I will let you stay on board because we still gotta do stuff. What else? Has this been fixed yet? It's still sealed off.
Victory awaits.
Right? Yeah, wait for it to resolve. Okay, we gotta go back. Well, now we got the Inquisition's favor, which is pretty good. I wonder if I took heretical actions, like, you know, going along with this willingly, if he would probably send agents to come and kill me. And I wonder if some of my crew wouldn't have tried to kill me yet. But now we have a choice. Kiava Gamma, Janus for the food supplies, or there's got to be a third option, right? Because there's 3 with the first part. Yep. Bleed yourself in the corner, I see. Lord Captain, the inspection of the ship's systems is complete. The tech priests are reporting the machine spirits are calm and satisfied. Everything is ready for onward travel. Except there is an issue you must be aware of. I've been studying what records left by the vessel's previous navigator. I wanted to double-check the route to Dargonus and discovered that it does not match the one recorded in the Atlas. It is more than a minor warp fluctuation. The route has been wiped out. It can no longer be used for traveling. To make matters worse, I started checking the paths from the Atlas, one after the other, and saw the same thing everywhere. The warp is rolling with an ominous storm, bursting with vivid and screaming colors. It will not hinder our movement, but all previous knowledge is now utterly useless. So we gotta re-plot everything? Warp storms are our enemy, just like heretics and demons. It is a shame that they can't be dispersed with a flamer or a bolter. Now we can be certain that problems with the astropathic communication and the Corona expanse are no coincidence. There is a warp disturbance in your way, Lord Captain. It is swallowing messages and disrupting familiar routes. This means you need to locate the key worlds of the Von Valancius Protectorate as soon as possible. I'm talking about Janus, Dargonus, and Kiava Gamma. Charting new routes so they can be reached and restoring control will be the necessary next step. What would the consequences of losing contact with these worlds be? A world deprived of connection to its neighboring systems and the Corona Expanse's infrastructure can only rely on itself, and their capabilities are often limited. For example, Janus does not have a fleet of its own. Pirates, cultists, heretics, Xenos, anyone could prey on the helpless planet. The loss of communication is a threat to your position. A rogue trader with no protectorate to back them is one that grows weaker by the day. The Vox Master is entirely correct. You are the rogue trader of the Von Valancius dynasty, the successor to Theodora von Valancius, one of the most influential women this side of the Maw. But you are also new to the business of governing. Many will doubt your competence and try to carve up your protectorate so they can snatch a piece for themselves. It is important to show your potential allies and foes that you are in control of the situation, which is why the sooner we reclaim these lost worlds, the better. If the faithless decide that your worlds are easy prey, that is good. We will find enough enemies in your domain then, and we will kill them. The Undying One will look upon us with approval. Tell me about Janus. The surface of Janus was altered extensively so the planet could be designated an agricultural world. It is a powerful food base capable of supplying and burgeoning protectorate and exporting provisions to the outer worlds at the same time. Janus owes much of its prosperity to the governor house of Viet. Under its leadership, the world has grown ever more prosperous year by year, securing shipments and taxes while keeping the workforce tightly controlled. What is Kiava Gamma? Industrial world Kiava Gamma is being managed by the governor house of Gaprak and supplies your protectorate with rare mineral resources. Additionally, the planet features an Adeptus Mechanicus Manufactorum. Yeah, a large factory. That processes materials and prepares them for shipment. I testify that Kiava Gamma is a world marked by the Omnissiah's patronage. By his grace, the manufactorums of the colony are inhabited by the committed and industrious machine spirits. Mistress Tolman neglected to mention that Kiava Gamma's manufactorum also supplies heavy machinery, from forage harvesters to vessel systems and components. You display commendable knowledge of our world's manufacturing capability, Von Kalox. Pleased to be of service. What do I need to know about Dargonis? Dargonis is the heart and soul of your protectorate. It is where the main administrative resources and storage facilities are, and so is the Von Valancius Palace. If you would like to know, this is where you will publicly accept the title of Rogue Trader. Dargonis is a major administrative hub that runs the cargo fleet and keeps track of finances. Abelard, what's your opinion? Where should we go first? Rediscovering the agricultural world will supply your protectorate with something none of your servants can do without: sustenance. The importance of basic supplies should not be underestimated. Just look at Footfall in its current pitiful state. On the other hand, I am concerned by the rumors concerning Kiava Gamma. There have been no problems on Janus for many years, but something is very wrong with the industrial world right now. Delay may cost us the entire planet. I trust I do not have to explain the capital world. Losing it would make us the laughingstock of other dynasties. Besides, the loss of chronicles and ledgers could spell a bureaucratic catastrophe. So all three systems are equally vital to your protectorate. It falls to you to decide which should be brought into the fold before the rest. The way I'm thinking, I think we get Kiava Gamma because it's currently under threat. I know that because of the people we met on the docks. So I think we go there. Then, if I get any news that changes my mind, I'll change it, but I'm thinking I go for Janus next to get food for Footfall and also give it protection. And then I'll go back for the palace. Because honestly, bureaucratic and palace and all that crap isn't the highest on my to-do list. Anywho, farewell. Our course is clear. Do my officers have any other issues that require immediate attention? That is all, Lord Captain. The vessel and the crew await your instructions and are ready to depart Footfall immediately should you desire. Okay. Any rumors? Nope. Anything new? Nope.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
Nothing new? Okay. Argenta? You wanted to talk about something? I'm waiting for you to tell me about your past and to explain the strange words of that cultist on footfall.
Yes, I'm ready. I would ask only one thing of you, rogue trader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the sacred warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
I mean, I guess. Okay. As long as you don't do any shit to it because you are somehow a cultist or anything. But you shouldn't be. If thou seest a flaw in me, smite me. If thou knowest a fall of mine, burn me with flames of fury and righteousness. But thou seest a light in me, grace me. If thou hearest this plea of mine, bless me with wrath of fury and of righteousness. For I breathe by the will of thine, for I live by the law of thine. I carry thy word, O Emperor. I bring solace to servants of thine, and ruin to foes of thine, a fate of terror and righteousness. Rogue Trader, we need to talk, or rather, I need to tell you something. The truth. The truth about how I ended up on Theodora von Valancius' ship, and about the cultists we encountered on Footfall. Okay, I'm listening. Please understand, I couldn't trust you before. I'll tell you my story, and you'll see why. I'll start at the beginning. It's easier to piece everything together that way. Upon arriving in the Expanse and on Footfall, I found no purpose here, only torment. I wasn't needed. The reliquary I had been assigned to safeguard was already well protected by Reverend Hieronymus's mission, and no one was even trying to defile it. For all its lawlessness, Footfall respects the worship of the Emperor. That was when Lady Theodora, head of your dynasty, appeared. She became an agent of divine will in a way. It was from her that I learned about a planet recently discovered by her scouts, Salus Prime. For a rogue trader, the planet was of little interest, a feral world away from the convenient warp routes. But for me, learning about its existence was a revelation. I've never heard of such a planet. Does it belong to the Von Valancius dynasty? Yes, now that planet is yours by right. But it's not as simple as that. The warp route leading to it was lost. I'll explain in due time. May I continue? Sure. The description of Salus Prime was familiar to me. It seemed very similar to a world from an ancient legend. The legend of Saint Argenta and her ship. Argenta, the living saint, she is my patroness. The order named me after her. She died millennia ago, when heretics caused her ship to fall from the skies. But even those blasphemers could not touch Argenta's ashes or her holy relic, the one star. For the fallen ship, which now served as her resting place for the saint's remains, would only allow the truly righteous to enter. All others would meet their death. Imagine what I felt when this flash of insight came upon me. The world where Saint Argenta's ship fell was merely a vague legend. No one knew its actual whereabouts, and suddenly, I myself, named after the saint, came across this information. I realized at that moment that it was a portent, that I must journey to the planet and find the ship, and so I asked Reverend Hieronymus to let me go for a time on a personal pilgrimage. I boarded Theodora's ship and demanded passage to the newly discovered planet Salus Prime. Why did you keep your suspicion from Reverend Hieronymus? Surely he could have helped you search for the ship and the saint's remains. I couldn't just come out and tell him. It was a portent revealed to me personally, can't you see? I told Reverend Hieronymus the honest truth, that I was going on a personal pilgrimage to embolden my spirit. It really was a pilgrimage. It was as if Saint Argenta herself had shown me the way, commanding me to undertake this trial. If I had found the ship and set foot on its decks, if I had laid my hand on her remains and the relic, it would have been a sign that I had truly been blessed with the saint's favor. That was irresponsible of you. If you had gotten yourself killed on the planet, no one would have learned about its existence, and the holy relic would have been lost. Holy relics cannot be truly lost. When the time is right, they reveal themselves to the worthy, but I will accept this reproach and try my best to think on it. I imagine Theodora was thrilled about this prospect. Lady Theodora lent her assistance. It was her intention to visit the newly discovered world, and she took me with her. You mentioned something called the One Star. What is it? Apologies, I got so carried away I forgot to explain. The One Star is the relic kept by Saint Argenta. I belong to the Order Pronatus, and we attach particular significance to holy relics. The One Star is one of those lost relics of the past, so mysterious that no one even knows what it is exactly. Argenta's hagiography at times calls it a banner, or a set of armor, or a blessed chainsword. One thing is certain, it was a beacon of righteousness, and it was lost with Argenta's death. What happened next? The defeat. The ship's augers failed to detect anything of note during orbital scanning. I was expecting this, though. According to the legend, the ship can conceal itself from the naked eye, and only a pilgrim guided by a pure heart can find it. What I didn't expect was an ambush waiting for us on the planet. I landed there with a small unit provided by Theodora. I know Saint Argenta's hagiography by heart. I know all the legends about her. I followed their obscure clues, the descriptions of mountains and rivers from millennia-old tales, and I was certain that I had found the way to the ship, and that's when we were attacked. The words we heard in the heretic shrine on footfall, something about ways, doors, please, addressed to some lord, the edge of daybreak, they were the same words as those spoken by the cultists who attacked us on Salus Prime. My whole unit perished. All those honest, brave people I had led to search for the relic. It was only by a miracle that I didn't perish along with them. I didn't connect these events at first. The cultists on Footfall, the cultists on Salus Prime, the cultists attacking the ship, and Kunrad's betrayal. What if these are all links in the same chain? What if they've long since infiltrated the ranks of the Von Valancius servants? What if I led those heretics to the sacred planet with my search? Sadly, the only one who might have had answers, Kunrad, escaped. Oh yes, and I sincerely hope that we will meet him again. The serpent needs to answer a few questions before he is plunged into cleansing flame. No need to blame yourself. If the heretics really had wormed their way into the Von Valancius ranks by then, they would have found the planet even without you going there. I doubt it. No one except me was particularly interested in the planet. Kunrad, on the other hand, he sympathized with me when I first came aboard. He helped arrange an audience with Theodora and supported me in my effort to visit the planet. I never told him plainly why I wanted to go there, but I imagine that Vulture must have figured out that it was something important, something related to the holy faith of the Imperium. And what could delight a heretic more than defiling a relic? How did you escape the cultists? Theodora's people received the distress call, came to my rescue, and brought me aboard the ship. I barely remember what happened. When they arrived, I was already severely wounded, fighting back with whatever remained of my strength. I think I shouted that we had to go after them, but they didn't listen. They took me to the shuttle and pulled out. After that, it's all blackness. When I came to, we were already in the middle of a warp jump. Theodora had urgent matters to take care of, and she decided that she could clear out the planet at a later time. And that's why you didn't trust me before, correct? Yes, Rogue Trader. I saw with my own eyes how a member of your family showed his true colors as a servant of the archenemy. I had already suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of cultists, and were afraid with another betrayal. I couldn't be forthright with you, and so I studied you, looking for seeds of corruption or the light of righteousness. And what did you find? A man who stood shoulder to shoulder with me and helped eradicate the cultists on footfall. Although my opinion of you started to change even before then, back when you agreed to talk to the orphans at my request, a leader who's willing to honor those who laid down their lives for them and take care of their children is a leader who inspires trust. And the way you acted in that moment, do you remember? There was a young man whose grief and confusion had driven him to insolence. You found the words that could comfort him. You didn't punish him, didn't scare him with a show of ostracy. You even admitted that you are not all-powerful. It surprised me. I even saw it as a weakness at first, but after giving it some thought, I saw the wisdom in it. The way you openly addressed the thoughtless boy does you credit, Rogue Trader. So just to clarify, you were wounded, so you never found St. Argenta's ship, is that right? Yes. I rushed to Theodora the moment I could walk again, and I insisted on going back to Salus Prime to defend the relic from the heretics, but I was told that the warp had been destroyed, or had destroyed the old route to the planet, and that plotting a new one would take a great deal of time and effort, as if there could be any more important than protecting the faith and hunting down servants of the archenemy. In any event, the route was lost, and all knowledge of it died in the attack on the ship along with the old navigator. But now we have a new lead. The data that we collected in the cultist shrine on Footfall, I don't care what that reprobate we executed said. There must be a way to track them down. Tell me, Rogue Trader, will you help me in this undertaking? Will you help me find this great relic and return it to the people of the Imperium? There's nothing I wouldn't do to reclaim a sacred object for the people of the Imperium. So be it, Rogue Trader, as I stand here before the warrant, the embodiment of the Emperor's will, marked by his own hand. I vow that I will not relent until the holy relic has been returned and the heretics punished. And may the light be with us both on this path. Okay, so we got another thing to go do. But I don't know. Yeah, no, I can go do that. That's a side thing. Because I'm thinking, if I go do this whole thing and side quest for her, would that add time to, like, the death counter or whatever you want to call it, the clock on the planets? But I don't think so. Because then you just would be forced in either doing the main missions or you just can't play the rest of the game, which is kind of dumb. I'm gonna go rest. I don't know if I have anybody else I can talk to. There you go. Let's talk to Jay, I guess. Yeah, she's new. Shireen, I hear you are in need of entertainment. Well, do not worry. I have the perfect solution. I'll show you how to combine the joys of drinking and the rigors of intellectual recreation into one incredible pastime. We'll play a game of regicide, but instead of pieces, we will use amasec. The rules are simple. When you capture a opponent's piece, you have to take a shot. Okay, so it's chess. Regicide. Play fair. Allow Jay to take the lead so he can keep a clear head. Stop her from cheating. I'll do this. I think is my best bet. Yeah. I did it. You intentionally place your pieces in harm's way, hoping to trick your opponent into getting drunk and throwing the game. However, Jay appears to be employing the exact same strategy. Your clever ploy eventually succeeds, and you watch Jay's eyelids start to droop. Hold on, wait a minute. Is it your turn or mine? Tell you what, you can have this one, Shireen. If I have another drink, I think I'll fall right into this bathtub, and you don't want a corpse in your pool, do you? Anyway, what was I thinking about? Alright, I think I need to get some air. Okay, I won chess, I guess. Yeah, it reminds me, you gotta talk to Jay and learn about her. And I guess she also has a thing for us to do, like a heist or whatever.
To what do I owe this visit?
You want to discuss the nature of your mission?
Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officer's mess.
Okay. Another secret conversation. Thank you for finding an opportunity to talk. I trust now would be a good time to explain the reason for my return aboard your ship. I welcome the chance to assist the Inquisition with its inquiries, Van Calux. Lord Captain, your enthusiasm is commendable. To business, then, the cult of the final dawn. The madmen preach their heretical doctrine among the denizens of the Coronos Expanse, and instigate crimes against the throne and humanity. One such crime took place in your protectorate. The Lord Inquisitor considered it necessary to have one of his acolytes accompany the rogue trader on the voyage into the corrupted region. I also need to meet with one of my observers on the capital world of your domain. A chaos cult in my protectorate, Heinrichs? Are you laying an accusation against my dynasty? Chaos treads softly. The main danger of secret cults and sects is that they are like seeds. They can remain in the ground for decades, safe from all scrutiny, until an opportunity to sprout, grow, and bear monstrous fruit presents itself. The emergence of a cult on one of the rogue trader's planets does not mean the dynasty head himself is a chaos worshipper. Having said that, it should be noted that Theodora von Valancius was famous for her loose interpretation of the freedoms granted by the warrant. A bloodline can be stained by ancestral transgressions. If it is indeed so, it is in your best interest to do whatever necessary to redeem yourself, and then, perhaps, you will get a chance to salvage your dynasty's reputation. The Lord Inquisitor mentioned in his letter that he is willing to show leniency towards my actions that would otherwise be interpreted as radical. That is correct. I should show greater tolerance for the mistakes of a newly appointed rogue trader. To be frank, I am surprised the Lord Inquisitor is not the type to indulge the weakness of soul and mind, even in someone who only recently accepted the burden of a lofty title. You have spies on my worlds? The person I mentioned is not a spy, but a secretary in the Administratum Department on Dargonus, the planet's governor, and Theodora was fully aware of his status. His duty is to fulfill the sacred oath of the Golden Throne and eliminate threats to the Imperium, which the Coronis Expanse has in abundance. His name is Achilles Scalander. As soon as we contact Dargonis, I will introduce you as the new head of the dynasty. I'm sure you will appreciate the presence of such an advisor among your subjects, and I suggest you heed his words at least occasionally. Why would Ordo Xenos agents investigate a Chaos cult? You are well versed in how the Inquisition is organized. Yes, initially our arrival in the Coronis Expanse was dictated by the need to fight Xenos. But there is more. The cult is tangentially related to the main specialization. Perhaps I will be able to reveal the full truth someday. But right now I ask you to display humility and patience. I want to know more about this cult of the Final Dawn. Chaos worshippers. Most often agents of the throne run into lone renegades stirring up the rabble. Insane prophets and hysteric visionaries preaching the end of days. A passing comet, a mutant rebellion, an onslaught of monsters. Each time they come up with a new reason why people should prostrate themselves and quiver in fear. Much effort and the blood of those loyal to the Golden Throne were spent before we established the connection between those heretics. However, the cult of the Final Dawn is something greater than a gaggle of misguided seers and fortune-tellers. They cleverly spreaded their agents all over the Coronis Expanse, disseminating heresy among honest people on the Imperial worlds. There is a certain strategy to their actions that changes whenever we get too close. And finally, they have enough military power to have had the 2 ships that we sent after them later discovered as wreckage. The growing difficulty in making warp jumps is detrimental to us, but is unlikely to inconvenience those who engage in vile sorcery day in, day out. After the events on Rykad Minoris, I suspected the cult might have built its nest inside Winterscale's domain, but the latest report indicate that it is your protectorate that is harboring heretics. Being in your entourage improves my chances of getting closer to their secrets. I've already agreed to give you a place aboard my ship. What else? The rogue trader should deliver me to the system that contains the industrial world of Kiava Gamma. I will then accompany you to the surface and determine what the cult is planning and how it intends to use the resources that have fallen into their clutches, which may very well include the blessed engines of the Adeptus Mechanicus and even the followers of the Omnissiah themselves. I will be frank. The answer to this question is unlikely to please either of us. The machinations of chaos usually go beyond solely inflicting countless deaths and destruction. Having their plans come to fruition would lead to far more terrible consequences. One of the systems in the Coronis Expanse is already lost. May the Emperor protect us from watching this tragedy play out again. Let us assume Kiava Gamma has fallen to heresy. What then? Will you again propose that we destroy an entire planet? On Rykad Minoris, you made a decision that sent billions of souls into the grasp of the archenemy. An unreasonable and unforgettably high price for a small handful of people saved by your mercy. Do I consider it a worthy exchange? I most certainly do not. Will I make every effort to make sure such an exchange does not happen again? Of course I will. Sentimentally, it is a luxury I cannot afford. I do not believe you lack compassion. You did not stop me after all, although you certainly could have tried to. I haven't said I would not like to be able to afford such luxury. In fact, deep down I understand why you acted that way. I have yet to eliminate the understanding and acceptance within myself, but I will. Why did your suspicion fall on Kiava Gamma? Disjointed pieces of data that finally merged into a single picture. Additionally, not long ago, a vessel from that world arrived on Footfall. The reports from the crew were confused and alarming, making me fear a planet-wide rebellion. We met a Chaos Space Marine on Rykab Minoris. Do we risk running into his brothers? I have no doubt it will happen sooner or later. Chaos Marines siding with the cult is very, very bad news. Most likely they kept away until recently, pulling their puppet strings from a respectable distance. These traitors seldom show up alone. The best we can count on is having to deal with just a squad of Chaos Space Marines in the Cronus Expanse, not an entire company. Yeah, I don't know. I know a little bit about companies and the different chapters and stuff after they split from the legions. I know that for the loyal side. I don't know any of the heretic Chaos Space Marines chapters. So I don't know if that was a chapter that could worship Tzeentch or not. Or if he was just there to be like, haha, we're just doing it to screw with the Imperium. Which is in their what they want to do, truly. But to me it almost looked like a World Eater Space Marine, which is supposed to be helping Khorne and only helping Khorne, not going around helping Tzeentch. But I don't know, maybe it somehow helped Khorne out too. Anywho. I won't let anyone throw their weight around on my worlds, be they servants of Chaos, Xenos, or heretics. A commendable aspiration for a person who holds the fate of billions of people and dozens of Imperial worlds in his hands, which is why you need to be ever more vigilant when looking for seeds of corruption on your planets, lest they sprout someday and spell doom for whatever is tangled up in their roots. That is enough discussion about the arch-enemy's servants. Tell me about the Drukhari who stole Rykad's son. The Drukhari, one of the branches of the Eldari, an ancient and vicious Xenos race. Those creatures are a living terror to ordinary people who fall prey to their raids for the simple reason that the victims are not killed outright, but instead become their playthings. Just as you and I need air to survive, the Drukhari require psychic energy born from torment and pain, which they extract from their captives with uncanny expertise. Yeah, it's terrible. If you're getting raided by the Drukhari and you can't win, just shoot yourself. That's better. Way better. Their ships, which are difficult to mistake for any other, arrive suddenly and undetected. Their stealth technologies greatly surpass the capabilities of standard Imperium auger arrays. The objective of their raids is never to capture a world or a ship, no. They are only interested in fresh victims. After filling their holds with living captives, they disappear into the webway. Yeah, which is basically, we have warp travel where we gotta go through hell to get around and all that really fast. They have the webway, which is a safer, cleaner way to do it, where you go through this pocket dimension that isn't hell and doesn't run the risk of going insane or having demons kill your entire ship. Yeah, it's a lot better. A different dimension, which conceals their greatest stronghold, Kamara, the dark city of the Drukhari from which none can hope to escape. Yeah, it's not good. I do not know why the Drukhari stole Rykad's son and brought about the fulfillment of the cult's prophecies. Perhaps the Xenos themselves have played into the archenemy's designs, or perhaps Aurora's divinations in fact describe the Drukhari's actions. There is only one thing I can say it with absolute certainty. There is no alliance between the cult of the Final Dawn and the Xenos. It is simply impossible. I must go before my business is there. I must go about my business. Is there anything else I need to know? Let me put it this way. You may think whatever you want of me, but my goal is to not hinder you. I am here to help you in the fight against foes you may not even be aware of. You have my word that I will provide every assistance in uprooting the heresy that has sprouted on the Von Valancius worlds while their master was away, and that I will try to be more patient with the less grievous flaws of the bearer of the warrant are sometimes known to have. Thank you for sparing the time, Lord Captain. Okay, so we got you back on. That's nice. I do not want to deal with Drukhari. They suck. But anywho, yes, now we have all of them open. That's good. Kazbalika, you need 6,000 because you suck. Cost. Do I have any of those? I think the best I have is Mechanicus stuff. Yeah. Which does not help too much. Got the Drusians, which I don't have holy gifts or jewelry for them. Fellowship of the Void, because we're buddies. Yeah, I still need to get that, so ship components again. And you don't want any of that. I don't even think I have this stuff. Well, I do. Because I haven't seen anybody else want Void Pirate trophies. So you like very specific things to upgrade my stuff with. Because I have 25 right now. Just checking through. Okay. You like holy gifts and heretic trophies, holy gifts and jewelry, heretic trophies, Xeno trophies, so cold trade stuff. Well, I think to help, I'm going to give the Drusians my ship components. There you go. Anybody like uniform kits? I don't even think anybody takes uniform kits. Oh, you do, for 150, which is the exact same. Uniform kits, nothing on you either. So the only two that like that are those people. Anywho. Hello.
The Omnissiah knows all.
Oh, there's Jay.
Dumbin.
Stop stabbing yourself all over my deck. Jeez. We'll talk to Jay.
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Sherin. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Sherin. I will watch your back, if you do me a favor and watch mine.
Okay.
Well, enough jokes. Is there something you wanted?
Fair enough. Was there some business you wish to discuss?
Oh, Sherin, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place.
Not again.
My words are meant for your ears alone.
Fine. Like, everyone's just went in private chat. My room again. Shireen, the Exalted One himself brought us together the day you crossed Vladim's threshold. He led us to the cargo and gave his blessing for its return. Do you know what people on my world say when such a thing happens? What's gained is to be shared with your neighbor. Nice. I am sharing what I've gained with you. Please accept these humble gifts in honor of our wildly successful, though suddenly struck, friendship. So I got an Eldari sniper and a Drukari sword, a glaive. Interesting. Can only do dead shot attacks. Whenever the wielder scores a crit, they gain an additional attack this turn. That's fair enough. A truly wonderful gift. I accept it with gratitude. I knew you would appreciate the Xenos mastery of their craft. I'm not going to be, the naysayer and be like, oh, I don't want it because it's an alien gun. Alien guns are probably more powerful than what we have. I'll take it. So the matter I wanted to discuss with you is related to my business. You know that I sell Xeno artifacts to interested Imperial subjects, and Imperial trinkets to Xenos. Business is going well. My network runs even without my participation. But when it comes to expansion, well, that is where I hit a wall. Rivals envious of my success. Falco especially. I am certain the theft of the cargo was his doing, but I can never predict what that Ashmag will do next. And while the Imperium's authority may be fragmented in the expanse, it could crack down on people of my profession at any moment. I think I follow. You wish to use me? Exalted One, forfend. Could such a lowly servant of the Emperor use the radiant bearer of the warrant like some kind of tool? The other way around, however. If the rogue trader put in a good word for me with the servants of the Adeptus Administratum, I could become an official trade representative of the Imperium. Just imagine it. A little scrap of paper will offer me and my agents protection against Ashmeg schemes. Far better than any refractor field. And even the Inquisition will have to think twice before they mess with me, because I'll be a representative of the law in my own right. And the best part of all is that this will cost you precisely nothing, Shireen. All you have to do is stop by the Administratum Palace and obtain a certificate from the Master of Seals. My informants tell me that the palace is located on Dargonis, your capital world. You see how everything has aligned so wonderfully? And of course I will repay you in kind. How do I benefit from your gaining official status? Besides being in receipt of my eternal gratitude, Shireen? Won't it be beneficial to have someone in your retinue with the weight of authority behind them rather than just another pawn? One slip of paper and I will be able to extend my network to systems far beyond footfall. My agents will be your eyes and ears throughout the expanse. That does sound pretty cool. That sounds simple enough. I will help you. Exalted One bless you, Shireen. I couldn't find a better business partner in all of the expanse. Friendship is a gift from the Exalted One, and we must cherish it. And you will have no complaints about our friendship, Shireen. I may not be a trade representative of the Imperium just yet, but I can still help you with whatever you need. You must have some faction in mind that would like to establish relations with the severe Drusians, the hot-headed pirates of the Casbilica. You merely need to use the right words like a key for a lock, and people will open their hearts to you. Or their wallets.